Hey, Mike Phillips here, and yesterday I wrote a brand new article and shared it on our forum, and it's called the How to Get a New Customer Kit. And basically what I did is I put together some products that all my life I've always used when I detail cars, and I share in my detailing classes with my students. And the purpose of this is to engage somebody you've never met before and potentially get yourself a new customer. And the way it works is you're basically going to demonstrate that you actually know your craft, that you have some head knowledge up here, that you know what you're talking about. You're not just a guy with a bucket and a wash bin. So let me show you how this works. And if you're mobile, you want to keep this with you. Now, if you have a detail shop, of course, you've already got this stuff around. But here's how this works. The first thing you need to do when talking to somebody, and if you're going to be a detailer, you really need to be a people person. You need to be a little bit of an extrovert. You cannot be shy about walking up to a stranger and talking to them about their car and car detailing. So you need that working for you. Otherwise, you're probably not going to do very well as a detailer. But here's how this works. First, you want to keep clean microfiber towels and a clay lube. You can use the clay lube as a spray detailer. So after you get talking to somebody, the first thing you want to do is say, tell you what, how about I clean off a section of your hood or the trunk lid? You want something you can look down on, and also contaminants fall and bond to, because this is going to work to your advantage. So you clean off a section, wipe it down, get it real clean, and then say this. Now, tell you what, let's inspect your paint by feeling it. And it's important that you always have them start by feeling it with their bare hand and have them feel it. And a lot of times, even contaminated paint can feel kind of smooth. Then do the baggie test. And this is going to make their eyes open up really wide if they've never done this. So then after they fill with their bare hand, have them put their hand in a baggie and then fill the same section of paint. And a lot of times they're going to go, wow, what are all those bumps I feel? Or what's that gritty feeling? And what that is the contaminants that have bonded to the paint so strongly that they didn't wipe off with the detailer, and they're not going to wash off either. And so that's when you explain, that's where detailing clay comes into play, okay? And you explain how detailing clay works, and if you have the opportunity, you go ahead and you clay a section and then have them feel the before and after difference. And you also explain them things like gloss comes from a smooth surface. So anytime you have contaminated paint, contaminants create surface texture, and that diminishes gloss. So everybody agrees that a painted car, you know, with a glossy finish looks good, so if you got contaminants, it's not going to look good. Also, car wax isn't really formulated to stick to contaminants. So even if a person waxes a contaminated car, the wax won't last very long because it can't bond to the paint because the contaminants are in the way. So you can kind of explain all that, and here's what you're doing. You're showing them that you really know your stuff, okay? And this is important because if you go to my class or you get any kind of training at all, your prices are going to be higher than the guy with the car wash mitt in a bucket, okay? So, excuse me, the way you get your prices up is you educate the customer that you're doing better work than the guy down the road. So after you show them the rough surface and how that's fixed with claying, the next thing you want to do is you just kind of want to explain to them that it's important to choose a good detailer because the factory finish on their car is thin. Now, this is a stack of Post-it notes, and the average Post-it note is around 3 mils thin, okay? And the factory clear coat on a new car is about 2 mils thin. So here's how this works. When you explain it to them and then they feel that between their fingers, it's pretty easy for the mind to figure this out and go, wow, the clear coat finish on my car is thinner than a Post-it note. And the point you want to make is, that's right, and that's why you want to choose someone that knows what they're doing to work on your car. Otherwise, they're going to remove too much clear coat, and that's going to put that car at risk of getting clear coat failure. So now you've covered above surface contaminants, you've covered the fact that the clear coats are thin, you want someone that's going to take care of it, and then another thing you can do is whip out your swirl finder light. Now, if you're outside and the sun's out, you don't need this, just use the sun. Just make sure you stand in a way that the sun is reflecting down at the finish and then back up at your eyes. But if the sun isn't out or you're inside, then you can get out your handy dandy swirl finder light and you can show them what swirls are. A lot of people don't know the difference between a swirl and a squirrel, so you educate them on that, and then that's when you can explain how you would remove that with the tool of your choice, the compounds and the polishes, then get up to either a wax, a paint sealant, or a coating. Then there's one more thing you can do, and I don't really recommend this because you're going to start getting really deep over their heads, and that's to whip out your paint thickness gauge. But it is a great marketing tool because a lot of people have never seen one, and you can set this in on the paint, let them know if they've got thick paint or thin paint, and then kind of go back over the old Post-it note thing. But the whole point of this is to engage a new person, to let them know that you're a detailer and that you can take care of their car because you know what you're doing. Anyway, that's the Get a New Customer Kit. It's a brand new article up on AutoGeek Online. I also just posted it to my Facebook page. And if you don't have these things in a case or something clean that you can store in your car, get them, learn how to use them, and go after the good customers.